Next step, once you've changed the title, oh, I misspelled that, so let's fix that. Change the title on both sides, up here and on the main page, and you've shared it. Again, you should not have it say private only to you. There should not be a lock. For you, there should be a little person picture in there that shows that you shared with your teacher. If not, change that now. Okay, so now we're ready for the chance to actually start building our reflection. So what we're going to do is we go to the first slide, and it says start with a time when your cup overflowed. There's a little picture of a cup overflowing, and it's got the questions. You should recognize these. These are the ones we used to reflect before. What happened? What were you thinking at the time? What have you thought about since? Who has been affected by what you did? In what way? So you're going to first start with thinking about a time when your cup overflowed. So in my case, I'm going to think about a recent time when my cup overflowed. Let's think I got frustrated with work. I was actually really overwhelmed with work. Okay? So overwhelmed with work. Actually, let's make sentences. When I was overwhelmed with work. All right, so now I've described the situation in just a really brief description, right? And for you, again, thinking of the time your cup overflowed would be a time when you either blew up or you shut down, right? So in my case, this time when I got overwhelmed with work, it wasn't like a time when I was getting mad at people or something like that. It's just me shutting down and feeling really tired and like working too much on the weekend and stuff, okay? So then I'm just going to describe it, right? Answer the questions just like you did in your last reflection. So be specific, be detailed, right? What happened? I had a lot of work to do, and I ended up working the whole weekend and not resting at all. So then I was tired all week long, and when I got home at night, I just wanted to go to bed and wasn't a very good listener to my wife. Okay. If you notice, right, I'm running out of room here. If I was to answer to that depth for everything, it would be difficult. So what you want to do is change the font size, right? Like 14 is pretty big. So you can grow this a little bit, but then select everything and change it to like an 11-point font. And then you should be able to fit it. Also, it looks like this might be bold, yeah. So we don't want it to be bold. All right. So practice your formatting, right? This is good practice for you because you want it to look clean, right? Keep the question in bold, shrink it down, make the formatting or the other words unbolded and smaller, and just make sure it fits in the area. If you need to, you can stretch this box a little bit, but you're going to need a little space to the side because once you've answered all the questions, and again, you want to give more detail than I did. I'm just being quick because you don't need to watch a whole video of me answering all these questions, right? You're going to write longer responses to each of these things. Then you're going to go over here and you're going to add an image that kind of goes along with it. So in this case, I was talking about being overwhelmed with work, right? So let's find a time. I'm going to go into Google and just type overwhelmed with work and just see what kind of images come up. This is great, all right? This is actually how I felt. Perfect. I'm going to use that one. So I go into it, I click it, I say view image. Now I'm going to copy that. I just go back into the slide and I'm going to paste it. Or if you want, you can go insert image, right? And here it says choose an image to upload, right? You can go to by URL, paste. Nope, I didn't paste the URL because I just copied it, right? So I go back here. I want to copy the URL, which is the address at the top, paste it in there, select, and boom, there's my picture. Okay. So now I have an image to go with it. I want to resize things, make sure it looks clean, right? And you notice these little red lines that pop up, they let you know if it's centered. So if I go here, you see it pop up, it means it's centered on this line. So that's actually a good spot, right? I can move it over here, and you notice the red line on this side shows that it's lined up over here. So make use of those red lines because you want to make sure your presentation looks pretty good and clean. And so you want to make sure things are lined up. With the way I have my words here, again, you're going to have a lot more to write, so please do. But again, if I had it like this, I would want to adjust it so that it lined up with the picture, right? So I go here until you see that red line, and then it's in there. Actually, that wasn't very helpful because it's lining up with the box. You notice there's a space down here. So I want to line it up so it's really, boom, There you go. And now it's right with the box and looks pretty clean. Make sure you do that. It's really important. If you're making a presentation, you want to make sure it's clean, looks professional, and that everything's kind of lined up. When you have stuff just all over the place or too busy, or you don't bold your headings and you write too much or whatever, like it looks pretty bad and nobody really wants to look at your presentation. So make sure it's nice and clean when you do that. So again, you're going to come up with the thing that filled your cup that time, a situation. Describe the situation, say what you were thinking, what you've thought about since, who was affected by what you did, in what way, just like we did with that last reflection. Go ahead.